We're here. We're begging for citizenship. We believe that we have the right to return. I'm very controversial. I don't believe that we have the automatic blind right to return, and Africa or Ghana owes anybody citizenship because of the transatlantic slave trade. You've traveled to Africa, the ticket costs money, the trip costs money. And if you don't have a good time, I told you we shouldn't have went to Africa. Why don't we have a welcome center for other people coming? Why haven't we built our own? If you know this is not the place for you, and if you know you can't be a contributing factor here, or if you know you don't like it here, and you know that this is not the thing for you, then take your ass back home. I can say, well, this is what I mean by it. And I'm not saying I'm better than you, even though some of y'all I'm probably better than you. I'm not saying that about everybody, about everything. But what I am saying is that where is the group economics?
Today, I'm joining you from Nyamebetre in the eastern region of Ghana. It's a perfectly quiet and serene community just over 2 hours outside of Accra. I am here today because I'm going to interview someone from the diaspora who made the move to Ghana, and he's been making an impact in this community. Behind me is a community center that he's built that is definitely going to make a difference to all the people who live in this city and the surrounding areas. I'm really excited to talk to him today. His name is Diallo Sumbry, and he is the CEO of the Adinkra Group, as well as one of the people who contributed to founding the Year of Return. Diallo, I'm really excited to be here today. Finally,
after years, I don't know, when years.
You've been trying to do an interview for so long. You interviewed me, though, for your show you did that's on Ghana Web.
Diaspora Link. And that was 2021.
Yes.
Yeah. Still one of my favorites.
It was really good. It's still
That's crazy. I did interview you. I forgot about that.
Yeah. You are somebody who's become a mainstay in Ghana. All of the things you've done between your tours, your work with Year of Return, and you were the first tourism ambassador who's African-American in Ghana, because usually it was a local person who's a tourism ambassador, but you were the first African-American who was given that honor. And I just am really excited for us to dive into your journey, because some people who are watching may not have seen it. I know you've been on other platforms before, but you've not been on mine, and there's people who may have not seen you before.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are. And I'm happy to be here. Like I said, you my sister. We've known each other forever. I just found that picture of us meeting. I think it was 2018 to 2017 Ghana Tourism Authority event, something like that.
Yeah.
And I looked at this picture, was like, wow, it's been a while.
It has. It's like when you shared it with me and I looked, I was like, oh my gosh, we've gotten older.
I didn't have no gray hair.
But no, I've gained weight since then. That dress I was wearing, I was like, I love that dress. It doesn't fit me anymore. So yeah, it's great to be here, and to be here in your town, Nyamebetre.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are live and direct in Nyamebetre.
Yeah, we are not in Accra. We're in Nyamebetre in the eastern region of Ghana. The air is fresh.
Super fresh air. It's across blues.
Yeah. You've been enstooled as a chief here. We'll dive into that. But first, I want to ask, when was the first time you came to Ghana? Because you're originally from the U.S.
Yes. So I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. Born and raised in Trenton, New Jersey. Just had this conversation with somebody yesterday, like, so you don't have any Ghanaian roots at all? Like, it's just you from, yes, I'm from Jersey. And my first time in Ghana was 2014.
2014 was your first time. And before that, did you ever think about coming to Ghana?
Well, I had been to other African countries. Senegal, Mali, Guinea-Conakry, like mostly Francophone countries. And at the time, all of my family and friends were coming to Ghana. And I'm like, why all y'all want to go to Ghana? Like, y'all can go to Ghana. I'm going to stick with my Senegal. I'm going to stick with my countries. And then in 2014, I made my first trip.
And how did Ghana compare to the other African countries?
So initially, what's interesting is in 2014, I only came to Nyamebetre. I didn't come to
2014, you came here.
Came direct from the airport. I came direct.
Come here.
So again, it was a spiritual journey, and I came to my spiritual teacher's compound.
Okay.
So that's what I came here for, like trying to get my life together, and really just trying to get, find a direction. Like, what am I going to do? Because you working, you making money, all of that stuff, but it just wasn't. I needed a deeper purpose, I guess. So I came here to complete my training, and I was here for about 5 weeks, and then I left. When I came back in 2016, I came here again for like a festival, a traditional festival. And then I spent my first 36 to 48 hours in Accra, and I did not sleep. I did not sleep. I promise you, I did not sleep. Me, my man Zulu, Tunde, my son, Kweku, my nephew, Aj, I forget who else was with us. And we just had a crazy time. Like, what the hell is this, right? So from there, I was like, oh, okay, Accra's lit. Accra's super lit. But it was when I came back to the village the next day, after that day, man, literally we're up for 36, 48 hours. We slept over at my brother Tunde's father's house, who had a guest house in West Hills Mall. This was before they built Eden Heights.
Yes.
Eden Heights wasn't really built yet. Oh, it was just being built. So anyway, when I came back, my teacher told me the next morning, like, I have a message for you. I'm like, okay, what's that? And he was like, if you choose to move to Ghana, if you choose to live in Ghana, do business in Ghana, lay down roots in Ghana, everything will go well for you. So I'm like, that sounds really good to me. Going well for me sounds great to me.
So how did he know that everything would go well for you?
Well, that's how, if you are a person of God and your job is to be able to be a vehicle to receive those messages, then that's what he's supposed to do. My job was to listen, because I could have heard that and said, this is a bunch of hogwash. This is a bunch of fragganackle bull or some BS, and I'm not listening. But up until that point, mind you, I had been studying with him. Up until that point, he had been always very truthful and honest with me. He always gave me the hard truth. He isn't someone who was kind of catering to me just to make me feel a certain way. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. But he also is somebody who just really believed in me, believed on me. One of the first times when I met him, first thing he said is, you have a very strong spirit. First thing. And then he just poured into me, right? So, giving me proverbs, just like, and I was hard-headed. I was messing up. I was not doing the right thing, right? I'm not perfect. I'm very much an imperfect person, right? I was messing up, doing all the wrong things. But he never gave up on me. He never looked at me like, oh, you're not serious or this, that. He just kept encouraging me, like, you'll get through it. And that kind of helped me. So when he told me that in 2016, that you're going to lay down your roots and everything will go well, the way I tell people this is, a year and a half later, I was in the president's office for the year of returning.
Right. And how did that come together?
For the year of return.
How did that come together? Because we have so many different narratives about how the year of return started. Like, how did you end up connecting with the president of Ghana, President Nana Akufo-Addo, to be part of?
So through my main man, Mr. Kwesi Adjuman, such a good guy. I met him in 2017 in DC. I was introduced to him through my friend and partner, Dr. Gina Page, president and co-founder of AfricanAncestry.com. So Gina had a meeting with him scheduled. Somebody had got her on his calendar. And she was like, well, you're the one taking the go-go band to Ghana, so you might need to meet with him more than I do. I'll give you my slot. And in fact, shouts out to you, Gina. I appreciate you. You know you're the homie. She was like, I'm even going to pick you up and take you, like, to make sure you get there on time. So I went. So at the time, I'm talking to Mr. Ajman about the backyard band. Hey, I got this go-go band. He's like, how many people you got signed up? I'm like, 100 people. He's like, who you work with? I'm like, by myself. And I think he was kind of like perplexed. Like, you bringing 100 people to Ghana by yourself? Like, and you just doing this? So then that's when I came, signed the MOU in 2017 with GTA, started working with him. And then somewhere along the way, the concept of 400 years is not something that I came up with naturally. There are so many elders and people who knew that 2019 was coming and it would be 400 years from 1619. What I was able to do through my working relationship with Ghana Tourism Authority was to be able to pitch the concept of Ghana celebrating and commemorating 400 years of the first documented enslaved Africans as a program through the Ghana Tourism Authority. So I made that pitch through a deck. First it was a conversation, then there was a deck. Then we started talking about how, like what could happen. And then I was able to convince him to come to the U.S. So in March of 2018, I took Mr. Ajamin Antifio, who at that time was the board chair for Ghana Tourism Authority, Mr. Kwame Ensong, who Sunseekers, who was a tour operator, is a tour operator, and I can't remember who else. And I basically put together stops in the U.S., DC, New York, and Chicago. So we put together, I wanted to do 7 or 8 cities because I wanted us to go to Atlanta, Texas. I wanted to go to the West Coast, Oakland. I knew all of the black cities.
So we didn't have the budget?
Right. It was a budget. It was a time, whatever it was. I was just leaning and pushing. So when they finally said yes, and we went there, at the time, the brochure, which I still have, was called Homecoming 2019. And it was really basing it around kind of 4 programs, right? The Back to Africa Festival that I created, the Panafest. There were like a few other events that were like going to be a part of this thing. So, and to Mr. Ajamin's credit, when I first came to him with it, he's like, it needs to be a country. If we're going to do it, it has to be countrywide. Like it can't just be 1 or 2. It has to be something that the whole country and all year round. Like, so from there, we went DC, hosted it at Bus Boys and Poets in Hyattsville, Maryland. And then we went to New York. Shouts out to my man, Terry Apone, who hooked us up with NYU, the Africa Center. And at the time, Mr. Ajamin had actually introduced me to Terry. I hit Terry up. So Terry put together the delegation of people who was going to be at NYU. And then in Chicago, they organized a group of people in Chicago. So we had these 3 conversations, came back. Once we came back, I'm knocking, pressing, knocking. Now, Ivan, let me tell you something. I didn't want to do this because I was trying to make some money. And I was like, they not paying. I'm trying to make some money. They not paying. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like I literally couldn't stop. So from there, I came one July. I showed up, called Mr. Ajamin, like, yo, I got something for you. And I had signed this deal with Ebony Magazine. If you remember, Ebony Magazine paid that they would come in December of 2018 to do this expose on Ghana, which was right before the year of return. Their Power 100 issue comes out. So over the next 7 days from my arriving here, I think it was July 2nd, 2018, over the next 7 to 8 days, the original year of return steering committee was formed in about 8 days, right? I can't give every single detail because I am writing my memoir this year.
Okay.
But there's a lot of details that went into that week. And then at the end of that week, we met at Mr. Laray's office, Media Magic. That's when we came up with the year of return, Ghana 2019 as the name. We were trying to solidify a name. The name came from there. But let me also say this, right? That is how the idea of the year of return became a national program and actually formed into a body, right? Which is different from the influence and is different from all of the work that everybody has done prior to leading up to it becoming the year of return. So Dr. Malana, Panafest, all of the work that all of these elders have done to keep the diaspora in front of the initiative were the foundation that made it easy. To be honest, I think probably the least impactful, and people may not be happy that I'm gonna say it, but I'm into saying a lot of shit that people ain't happy with nowadays because it's the truth. Probably the least impactful thing, although it was there, was the Joseph Project. So, and I'm not downing the Joseph Project. I'm not saying, but it really came up later. It needed to come up. It was political. It needed to come up to solidify the year of return as an extension of the Joseph Project because it was created by a former minister of tourism. So it needed to be rooted in something from the past that came from tourism, which really solidified tourism's ownership of it. If you understand what I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying.
So I'm not, and I'm saying this is my opinion, that it was the least, because even though we talked about the Joseph Project, right, in the beginning, there were no documents, there were no programs, there was no initiatives, there was no structure. It was just a concept and the idea that, hey, this thing. And it never really got off the ground. And I'm not saying that it's less important, but when it comes to the year of return and the formation of this thing happening, which I personally call, not just because I was involved, but the greatest Back to Africa movement probably since Marcus Garvey, right, came from this idea that this was going to happen, and the history that I'm going to really lay out in my memoir, but some of what I just told you. And it's like nobody can really take the credit because God put too many miracles in place. Like, first of all, I have no big resume, right? No, I ain't got a lot of money to sponsor it. All I had was the idea and the will. And I traveled back and forth. 2017, I was here 4 times. 2018, I came back and forth 8 times. I just kept showing up. And as most success people will tell you, all y'all out there showing up is half or 75% of the battle, right? One of the best pieces of advice that I've ever got from one of my brothers, Taki, is nothing fertilizes like the footprint. So if you want to fertilize the farm you're trying to grow, you can't do that by watching it on the video of your computer. You can't understand the character and the spirit of the trees unless you're walking on the ground. So nothing fertilizes like the footprint. So I was here, showing up, pushing, knocking, coming with new ideas. And I just decided to stop asking for money for it. Because when I knew that they weren't going to pay me originally, and I went to my spiritual teacher, he told me, you can't serve 2 masters. So you either have to trust and have faith in the spirit and God that this was meant for you to do, and then you will be rewarded later, or move on to another business. Because if it's just business, you can always move on to another business. You see what I'm saying? So all of these things and more led to it, to us launching the year of return at the National Theater in Ghana, and to us
And in the U.S.
in the U.S. Like even that, the National Press Club. Like, I'm not going to say too much about that, but let me just tell you right now. I've been watching people for a long time talk, and I think it's important for everybody to tell their story. I think you should tell your story. I told Annabelle, hopefully she definitely tells her story in time. Like whenever anybody feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Mr. Osmond recently wrote his book.
Yes.
I read the book. I love the book. I'm honored to have attended that. And I think everybody, like I think Lucy, Malcolm, Ernest, I think everybody should write and tell their story because it's important, and you played a role. You played a real life role, not a fake role, but a real life role in it.
Yeah.
So I'm telling the story from my perspective, and I have real live receipts. I have actual bank receipts, not just receipts, but I have bank receipts. I got pictures, I got photos, I got videos in the moment that I just want to share, because what I want to be able to do is to be able to help everybody understand that if you have a dream, or if you have something inside of you that you can't control and it's pushing you to do this thing, follow that, right? 2025, the biggest cheat code is believing in yourself. There's nothing else bigger than believing in yourself. You're going to have somebody tell you to go left. You're going to have somebody tell you to go right. You're going to have stops along the way. But the moment you really begin to believe in yourself, believe that whatever God put you here to do, and you stay focused on that, all of the right doors are going to open up along the way of you being on that journey, right? Of you putting that footprint and fertilizing your dreams to manifest it. So for me, all of this stuff started happening, along the way, me meeting you, because even before I came, my man sent me your video. Yo, make sure you meet her. She seemed to be on the ground doing things. I've been watching her videos. That led me to watching your videos, looking for you. And then I reached out like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's when we met.
So I've been going through this thing personally since the year of return, asking myself, how long can you talk about the year of return?
Yeah, because people still talk about it.
Right? I was asking myself, how long can you be because you branding yourself, people, well, what have you done lately kind of thing. Well, how long can you talk about being a co-architect of the year return? As long as I feel like it. It's like in basketball, in any sport, you're the champion until there's another one.
Yeah.
You're the champ.
Yeah.
Right? And as far as I'm concerned right now, that's how I'm looking at myself. You're the champ, bro. Until there's another program, until there's somebody else that comes along in an African country anywhere that sparks this movement that you have been able to be a participant in. And the way I like to say it is that I was a willing participant, and my job was to remain a clean and acceptable vehicle through which the spirit to work through, which means I had to keep showing up. On the human side, I had to keep spending the money. I had to keep thinking through this thing. I had to have faith. Like, I'm gonna tell you something crazy. In 2018, over the 8 times that I came in 2018, and probably the 4 times that I came in 2017, that's 12 visits.
Yeah.
The true reason for me being here was never revealed until the last day.
Like
I thought, like, you think you're coming for this thing, right?
Right.
So you're coming to do this thing, and you're chasing this thing. This is your goal. Before I leave, I gotta have this, right? And then you go to a meeting and meet someone and realize, no, this is the reason I came.
Everything shifts.
I came to meet this person. This other stuff that I thought I was looking for is not the reason for this trip, because my meeting this person just sealed something or took the vision to the next level.
Yeah.
So every trip I kept having that, but it was the faith of coming, searching, looking, following, whatever I felt, right? And then having the trust and faith that it would be revealed. Also being patient and not jumping, right? I've been here 8 years, Ivy. I haven't taken anybody's money to do business or investment. People were offering very early, bro, this, that. I'm like, I need to get my footing, and I need to really know what I'm going to do. I want to know what I'm going to do first before I try to do something with your money. I did try to sell some land for one point and got some people their plots, which was fine. But then it was like, it's not a development. Somebody want to build a round mud hut. Somebody else want to build a mansion. So I stopped to do that. And then I was like, okay, I'll do something else. And I really began to focus all of my attention here on Yame Betre. But it's like I'm now coming out. Like I'm literally now coming out. So all of the things that people say that I've done over the past, I'm grateful for, all of the support. But in my mind, I'm also like, yo, if this was impressive to you, I'm about to knock your socks off, because now we're getting into it. Now we're really engaging our core, using our creativity, building, having something to show for it, finishing some of the projects, and releasing these thoughts, these ideas, and these things, right? So now is the time that we're really like about to show you something.
Mm-hmm. So now you're talking about now is the time. So I want to talk about the fact that we're here in Yame Betre. And this is where you said your spiritual guide was the one who kind of led you here on that first trip.
Yes.
And now you are building this thing. We're sitting inside what is the development of the community center that you're working on. You were installed in this community.
Yes.
I want to know, how did the installment even come to place? Because one of the things that sometimes I get people saying is, why are Ghanaians always giving installments to the diaspora? Why are they getting it so easy? They just become a queen.
It wasn't easy, yo.
So there's Ghanaians who have this resentment sometimes and say it's being given for free and too easily. Or you see a celebrity come on TV and say, I'm a queen this, I'm a
Queen Mother of Ghana.
Yeah, so it's like you'll see these stories and people be like, well, what is this? So how did it happen?
So the crazy thing is they tried to trick me. So my mom was in town. So prior to this, when I started bringing groups, because I was connected to Yame Betre, every group I brought to Yame Betre. So in a small town like this, you're not used to seeing 3 VIP buses pull up and 150 people get off the bus.
People must have been excited.
Yes. They like, okay, this is and they like, he said he was going to do all of this.
He did it.
Like in 2014, 2016, 2017, I was telling everybody in this village about 2019. Anybody who really know me will say Diallo was the first person that told me it's about to pop. And I kept telling all my boys, yo, it's about to be crazy. Get on board. Like, I'm telling you, it's about to shoot up. Get on board. Holla at me. Come get with me. Even even to the point of me running, I pretty much ran by myself for most of the past 8 years, right? Because there was no one, everybody else was trying to figure out the deal. What do I get? How do I get paid? And I didn't have the time to stop and slow down and figure it out because I didn't know how I was getting paid, right? Outside of my tour company, which was bringing people, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I'm bringing all of these people here. We bring in school supplies. Every time I come in town. We painted the school. Like, it's just, I just put the town on my back. And I'm like, yo, this is my hood. This is my block, like Trenton. So now I'm about to rep Yami Betray.
Yeah.
Like, this is my hood. This is my block. What up? Like, what y'all gonna do? What y'all want to do? Like, I'm representing where I'm from, kind of thing. So with that attitude, they saw that. The youth mainly and the elders. So 2019, at some point, I'm here and my mom's at the house. So my mom is like, Diallo, I need you to stay till tomorrow. And I'm like, for what, Mom? I got something to do, and I cry. She like, oh, just stay. I'm like, just stay? For what, Mom? You know, I just think maybe, you know, and I'm like, Mom, whatever. As soon as I know my mother. Mom, whatever you got planned, I don't want no parts of it. I ain't staying. So unless you tell me, I'm going. Like, I knew she had something up her sleeve. So then she's like, So her and my teacher, Nana Yao, and Nana Borfe, his brother, who's one of the chiefs in Acropone under the Omahini, the overlord of Akuapem, they were plotting and scheming. Now, little did I know, they had been in conversation with my teacher and my mother for 3 months about me being a chief.
Without consulting you?
No, because they don't consult you. So, you know, in the real tradition, when it's time for them to be a chief, they come get you, right? Anybody in Ghana know, you wake up, you hear some gunshots outside, boom, a rack of dudes with black face on, leaves in their mouth, bowls on their head, powder on their face, right? I'm saying it like this because from an American perspective, that's the way it feels and look. And you go outside and it's 30 people and it's 50 people, it's 75 people, and they've come to take you as their chief. And then what they do is they take you, they hoist you up, and they carry you around the community. So that is to show everybody we're about to make this guy a chief. If he's not somebody of repute, if he's not somebody of good character, tell us now. We're showing him to you all. We've raised him up. So you know they say raise to power. We've raised him up, and we're showing him all around town. My big ass, 200-something pounds. You know, they had to pick me up and walk and carry me around. So when they first came to me, I'm like, what's up? So then the night before, I made my mother and them tell me. So they told me.
So you knew
that they're coming the next day. So I said, okay, I'll stay to see what this is all about.
Yeah.
So when they came, they didn't know that I knew, but they came. I didn't know what time or nothing like that. I didn't know what to expect. I just know that this was the thing. So when they came, I'm like, y'all coming. They like, nah, we've come to take you. I'm like, y'all ain't taking me nowhere. Come inside and we'll talk about it. So I'm like, why me? Oh, we've seen what you've done. We believe in you. Are you sure? I could be batshit crazy. You don't know how I'm going to change once you give me the chief title. And then what is it that you're looking for? Because I'm not just going to come and dump money and give everybody money. So now I'm having this conversation, and we have the conversation. So I say, okay, listen, I'll agree under these terms. 1, you can't stand in my way of what you bringing me in to do. So none of the red tape, none of this. If you believing in me to do it, then you got to let me do it. 2, I have to meet with every individual group, the young ladies, the old ladies, the young men, the old men, separately. Because one of the things I knew about the culture is that nobody's going to tell the truth in front of the old men.
No, they don't.
So in front of the elders, you don't tell the truth because it's disrespectful, right? And then I was just like, because I was like, no. I was like, I'm already going to do all the things that I'm doing. I'm already doing it, and I'm going to do more. Because at the time I had promised I was going to build a community center. I was like, nah, we're going to grow. Like, yo, trust me, Yami Betray to the world, this town going to pop in 10, 15 years. All of these other small towns, all of these Tenkong, Okrasi, all of these other towns that are bigger towns, we 1-for-1 champions. In a couple of years, we will top them. So all of you finna, yeah, like we going to top them. This how we going, right? That's that American competitiveness. But it's not even top them in real life. It's inspire them. Let them do the same. Let us figure it out. So then the next morning they came, I agreed. They took me around, did all of the rituals. You know, once you become a chief, they cut a sheep at your feet. They pour libation and schnapps. They cut a sheep at
They
your
cut a
feet.
sheep at your feet.
Yes, that's the traditional thing that they do. That's your oath. You sit down in front of the community, like this. I'm talking real tradition here. I ain't talking no fake stuff. So I did all of that. So then it's like, okay, you're a chief. Now, the installment that Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade came to happened later because this happened in 2019.
Right.
And then after you do your traditional installment, it's almost like a wedding. Now you have to do the public ceremony. So when COVID hit, I said, let me wait. Because I actually want my family to come. I want friends to come. I want people to be a part of it. 2021 came and gone by. I got back outside. We started African Ancestry family reunions with African Ancestry. That's what led to the whole citizenship program in Sierra Leone. So now I'm moving around these different African countries. And then 2022 comes. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing it this year. So the crazy thing is my brother Taye hits me up. Shouts out to Taye, the Wild African, #1 host for all of the parties in Atlanta. Make sure y'all check him out, follow him on Instagram. So Taye hits me up like, yo, I might have something for you. Woo, woo. I'm like, cool, no problem. So then he hits me back like, yo, so Gab. I'm like, Gab who? Like, they ain't Shane, my friend. He's like, oh, Gabrielle Union wants to come. She's doing her 50th birthday and, is doing a journey to Africa. She's going to a couple countries and Ghana is one of the countries. She called me and asked me, yo, do we know anybody in Ghana? And I told her, there's only one person I'm going to send you to in Ghana. That's my brother Diallo. That's why I'm saying shouts out to Taye. So the crazy thing is her birthday is like October 30th or 31st. Mine is November 4th. So we both Scorpios, a few days before mine. They were planning to come here. And I've told you, this is how God works. Literally the plans that they had and what they wanted was an authentic kind of experience. So when I got on the phone with the production crew and them, I said, listen, everything you want, you will have it if you come to my installment because it's already there. I don't have to create it. Now, if you can't change your dates, we can create it for you, but the spirit and the energy, you won't capture the spirit and the energy on the camera because it'll be just created for you. It won't be real. So then, we had a real conversation like, yo, this is a major milestone for me in my life. So if you guys are going to participate, and they were very understanding, like, no, we don't want to overshadow. Like, we're not trying to come in and make this about us. Cause I was like, yo, this is my installment.
Yeah.
Like, I love and appreciate y'all, but this can't be about y'all. They were like, nope, we don't want that. We just want to participate. We just want to kind of sit on the side. So it made it better to say, okay, let's go. So they showed up. And then I had the opportunity to tell people in advance that they were going to come. And I was like, no. Number one, it'd be crazy. And number two, if you rocking with me, you rocking with me. So if you rocking with me, you'll get that surprise when they arrive. They came, now what I didn't know is that I was going to be featured so heavily
on their video.
Yes.
On her video.
The whole thing is like the whole part 2 is them being here with me, me taking them to Manso. When I saw that, I was like,
Yeah.
oh snap, this is crazy.
And I couldn't believe it. You invited me and I was in Canada. I was like, of all times, I'm in Canada because I did want to be at your installment.
I knew all my people I had to invite and I knew they wanted to come just because I knew you guys and everybody else is like, Diallo deserves this, right?
Yeah.
He's being installed. He's inviting me doing this program. I want to be there to support. I didn't tell nobody they were coming, so you wouldn't have known that anyway. But I remember you being like, I'm not in town.
I know. I was like, of all times, I'm in Canada. So then I saw I was like, oh my goodness, wow.
So that was the public installment. But it's the oath. This is serious. So the energy was crazy because all of these people and you walking with the akofina, and I forget the words that I had to say, but I'm basically making the oath to all of the people that are there. So many different other diaspora queens, chiefs, queen mothers, people came, plus the local ones from Aquia-Pim. And this is the crazy thing. It started to rain. It was raining. I'm doing the oath, it was raining. As soon as I stopped and finished the oath, the rain stopped and the sun came out like clockwork. It's on film. It's on camera. Like I ain't making nothing up. It's on film, it's on camera. Same thing happened with Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade went to Ase Manso. There's a part of this thing where when you see Dwayne Wade in the river and he yells and his arms open up and it starts to rain, literally, that's what happened. He stood in the river, opened his arms and yelled, and like somebody yelled, camera, it started raining. And then we all just looked at each other and everybody started crying. Like, it was crazy. So having that experience was pretty dope, but I still was building this community center, and most of it has been out of pocket, even though we've had some patron donors, some good donors, and a GoFundMe that I haven't done as good a job of promoting the GoFundMe. And I'll share it with you just to help us complete it. And I'm a rookie builder. So I was telling you about how we had the whole library downstairs set up. I hired the guy to do the roof. Luckily for me, he was late. And rainy season came, and as soon as it started raining and all the water started leaking down, I knew he ain't know what he was doing. But you know, that's $15,000, $20,000 down the drain. I have to remove that whole roof, take it off, and then redo it, which kind of slowed me up because that money that I had to redo the roof was supposed to be used for the place where we're sitting now. So I had to wait till I got some more money, you know, like I had to wait till I got some more, and then you wait, it's like cra, 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 cra. I was telling one of my teachers the other day that when you first come to Ghana and you meet people and they tell you kra, 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 which is small, small, go along little by little, you might think that the reason why they're telling you little by little is because they themselves don't have the capacity to do it, or they themselves don't have the money to do it, or they're trying to impose on you something that's worked for them. They're not. They're just telling you the truth, little by little. Like, manage yourself well. If you do little by little, you'll get to the finish line. But if you try to do too much, it'll take you longer. You'll get stumped, and sometimes you don't make it.
Yeah.
So up until now, we've been pushing away. We've made a lot of progress. This room that we're sitting in, it was recently tiled. You know, the lights, and we got to put in the fan, so we're close. It's like we're coming along in a way. And I actually started another project first. And then halfway through that project, it was like, again, you know, listening to the spirits and the voices is like, yo, you have to finish the community center first. It was like, so I'm like, but how can I do two projects at the same time? So then it was like, listen, if you do the community center first, it'll be more important for you because you'll actually have a place to host the community. If you build your house or your personal business project first, then it's just for you. But if you build something that's for the community first, it's for everybody. And that is what's going to bring you the money, the resources, the people, and the notoriety to now build as much as you want. Another interesting fact is that even though I was in Coastal Henning and I told everybody I was going to build a community center, it wasn't until I broke ground and started working that the families in the town then began selling me land. Because I had been asking for land before then, but nothing was available.
So how did you get this land?
So this from the chiefs.
Okay.
Because we have to give him this for the community center. But I'm talking about other land that I own in the community. I was just trying to buy some land. You know, you want to buy land and shit, right? So it's like you want to buy land to develop, and it's like, oh, it's not available, this. And as soon as I started building for the community, then the families who own the land in the community and other people was like, oh, I know Nana wants something for the community. I know he wants to raise us up. So if I'm selling the land, let me go to him first and give him the opportunity. So I only own about 20, 25 acres in this community. And that's a small amount compared to what I would like to have and what we're aiming for. And that's only so that we can be in control of what we build and develop as a model.
Okay.
Right? Not just because we want to buy all the land in the town, although it's not bad to own the town, right? That's a pretty good legacy. For us, with this particular model and with most of what we're building, we have this regenerative, durable, sustainable idea model for how do you build in communities like this and it sustain themselves. So one, you build up. It's important to build multi-level story buildings, which costs us a little more money, but it's worth it in the long run. You have to build up. Once you build up, you're able to, and after you do your market research and things like that, once you build up, now you have multiple levels. So you can use some of the levels commercially to bring in money to support the part of the building that you use for the community. So for here in this community center, we're currently on the first floor. This is our open community center space where we'll host community meetings. Since we're currently engaged in a full community master development planning, a big part of that is community engagement. So we have to engage the community, help them understand what community development is, roads, everything, right? But then also for themselves. And then how do we develop them? How do we help develop the people? They're farmers. We don't want you to become mechanics, but we do want you to learn about mechanized farming. We do want you to learn about these things that will help increase your farming yield. So this community center will allow us to do that. The ground floor is the library. Right behind us is Yame Betchere School, and they have a library slot in their school day. So now they'll have a state-of-the-art library to go to every day for their library class, and after school, they'll be able to spend time in the library. And then we have a rooftop, which is really just 100% relaxed leisure football lounge that, again, the commercial part is used to help maintain the community part. So now surplus, we're able to create an endowment. I mean, it's also a business because for me, if I built this out of my pocket, then I want to get my money back somewhere. We also want to be able to do things for the community. This particular institution building alone is what's going to spark us now, making sure that all of the school buildings have lights, making sure that we can build new bathrooms or public bathrooms and showers in the community. So now we have something that makes money, that supports itself, and can help support the community development. It's been important for me to have this. Like, I'll say this. So we, African Americans, the historical diaspora community, we've been here since inauguration. Maya Angelou, right? W.E.B. Du Bois, Shirley Graham Du Bois.
I mean, even from the day of the inauguration in 1957, Martin Luther King was here.
Martin Luther King. So we've been here, right? But, and this is the critique that I have of the historical diaspora community and where we are. And I'm just not going to make any more excuses for us. We've been here, but how many institutions do we have in Ghana? Why don't we have a welcome center for other people coming? Why haven't we built our own? Why? We have our houses for ourselves. We have our businesses, but we don't really have cooperative economics. We don't really use group economics the way we are. Now, everybody has come here for a different reason. I didn't come here to line dance with you. Although I like to line dance and have fun and hang out, but I'm not here for that. I'm here because I understand the message in Nkrumah's neocolonialism. I'm here because I understand what Marcus Garvey was trying to do. I'm here because I understand what's necessary for the others of us who want to come, right? So we need more institutions. We're not using our resources as well as we could. We're not combining our resources. If you go around and ask yourself, Brother Jerry has the ancestral wall in Prom Prom.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't know where else. I mean, DAF is there, but it's an institution, and it definitely helps our people, and it's what Dr. Bennett is doing with the ancestral wall and etc. But for
the Sankofa
Wall, sorry, but for
and the AAAG, the African American
Association in Ghana is there.
Building, do they? Like I see,
no,
it's behind the.
So we have, and I'm saying we because I'm a member. I'm a former president, right? I was a president of AAAG for the past 2 years, and AAAG has the pavilion that's there that was given to us. There's nothing wrong with that, right? AAAG is over 31 years old, and it's not so much a critique, but it's just a fact. In 31 years, it hasn't been important enough for that association to build a building. Maybe it takes 30 years for it to become important, right? And I'm not saying that, oh, everybody should do what I'm doing. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is in terms of the thought process, in terms of our mind, what are we here doing? I ain't got no problem with you coming for Diallo December. I love the fact that people are vacationing in Africa and that it's not just about Pan-Africanism and fighting the power and the struggle that you should do that. But those of us who are moving here, who have moved here, there is a responsibility, whether you shirk it or not, whether you agree or not, there's a responsibility. And if you ask me, if any of these institutions, any of these organizations are going to be worth their weight in salt in the future, in the next 5 to 10 years, and they're not focused on strategic development, and they're not focused on building institutions that will be able to receive our people as they come and help direct our people through what this life may mean, then we just need to be clear and regulate them to social clubs. And it's nothing wrong with that. But let's not confuse it, right? Let's not confuse it with the language. Now, but I've always had this thought. It's just that I couldn't model it before. And I hate just talking about shit that you're not doing personally. I hate saying, oh, you should do this. And then somebody gonna say, well, why don't you do it? So now that I have something to show, I can say, well, this is what I mean by it. And I'm not saying I'm better than you, even though some of y'all I'm probably better than you. I'm not saying that about everybody, about everything. But what I am saying is that where is the group economics, right?
So why do you think that there's not this group economics you're talking about?
Well, I think it does happen on some smaller levels. And I think in small cliques. I think we have trust issues, which is natural. Everybody does in the world, not just African Americans and historical diasporans. I think we're still trying to figure it out. But I don't think we're willing to have the hard conversations with each other. I don't think we're willing to sit in the room, hammer it out, argue it out, and come out with the best possible solution.
You know, I've heard some people within the diaspora community, specifically the African American community, I've had some people who've said to me that they feel like sometimes it's their own African Americans who are doing things like cheating them when they come to Ghana. They feel like they're not helpful. They feel like they're taking money for things that they shouldn't take money for. I'm hearing this from different places, and I feel like I'm caught in the middle because I'm like, I don't want to get involved, whatever is going on. But those are the kind of things that are happening that I'm hearing people are saying.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen because, Marcus Garvey said, I don't want to take all Black people to Africa because most of them are going to be no good there like they were no good in the U.S. Everybody's not going to be of high reputation and character. Everybody, you're going to have some people that make mistakes. Maybe they don't even know. Maybe it's not intentional. I don't know that we have anybody in the African American community who's intentionally ripping people off, right? Like, it's a character. I saw a thread or something, and it's like everybody, this person, like, beware. They're doing this, that, and the third. But some people, they just have low character. But as a collective, and this is stuff that I'm actually about to start doing. I don't know when this interview is going to drop, but I got a whole bunch of stuff dropping this year to model and exhibit. For example, if you have a group of African American builders, diaspora builders, everybody's builder, or you got a group of people building a house, how many of them are thinking like a Susu? How many of them are saying, let's buy sand together, let's buy bricks together, let's buy iron rods together to lower the cost? Right? How many businesses might we have where it's as simple as, why don't we come together and buy laundry detergent, toilet tissue, paper towels, soap, toothpaste, the things that we need to save money? Cooperative economics. We've been here for 30 years. I see everybody balling out in the club, but we don't have no REITs. We don't have no real estate investment trusts. That's for the historical diaspora. Like, where is the strategy? Where is the direction for the historical diaspora? We're here. We're begging for citizenship. We believe that we have the right to return. I'm very controversial. I don't believe that we have the automatic blind right to return, and Africa or Ghana owes anybody citizenship because of the transatlantic slave trade. Some of you ain't going to do nothing. You're not going to contribute to society. So why should you have the automatic right?
Because there's a lot of people who believe that. I've had people in my comment section who say that they feel that African Americans and people from the historical diaspora like South America, Caribbean, that they deserve to have it automatically, and complain that why is it that they have to get a visa when they're coming to Ghana? They should be able to just jump on a plane and come and have it.
So for the visa thing, I don't know that, okay, Black people should get a visa to come visit. But after you visit once, then what? I just simply do not agree that we have the right to return empty-handed and empty-minded. I'm not saying that we don't have the right to return, but I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what should we be doing, right? Because we don't have to ask for citizenship. We can demand it with backup. We can demand it with a State of the African Diaspora report that says this is how much money we bring in remittances. We can demand it with saying this is how many homes we own. This is how many people we put through school. This is how much we've done in this, and this is how much we've done with that. And it's not just the African American Association of Ghana. I'm a former president. I'll always be a member, always. I'll always send people there for membership, right? But if that association, if the Diaspora Coalition, if DAF, right? And these are my elders, these are people that I respect. But it comes a time in your life as you become and you move to eldership and elderhood, and you begin to have your own ideas, and you're one of the youth, you got to push them, right? It's happened all in our history. Or you got to tell them, listen, you got to crap or get off the pot. But where are we going? How are we moving forward? Who is the person that we're following? What is the concept that we're following? Where is the strategic direction for historical diasporans in Ghana and in Africa that Ghana will continue to lead? Well, just somebody tell me what it is. What's the plan? Because we lobby for all of these people to get citizenship. Now, what's our plan? How are we pulling all of these new citizens together? Who even has the data to share with us, to analyze, to use? So I'm saying that it's 2025 and it's just time for us to get serious. And everything I'm saying, I will model. I will model myself, not just because I'm saying it here, but maybe this is going to help light a fire, right? Maybe the Diaspora Coalition is going to figure itself out and get to work, right? And let's really get to work. Where are our reports? Where's our data? Where's our, not just events. I'm okay with events. I love events. I'm always sitting on the couches popping bottles at night too. But that's after work. I go out. I love to go out, right? I was just at, what was that? Open Skies, XL Lounge Monday night, my favorite place to party. Like, I party, I enjoy, I celebrate, but I'm about to work, right? Dr. Amos Wilson said, there is no power without economic power. And if we, as the historical diaspora specifically, want to be recognized in the diaspora engagement policy of Ghana, right? And if we want to be recognized not only in the policy, but if we want legislative action that recognizes and represents us as the historical diaspora, then how do we get that? By begging, by asking, or by proving who we are? Because we know, anecdotally we know. I'm not saying that we're not these things. I'm saying that we are. I'm saying that we're everything and more. But who's pulling it together? And which of the elders are saying, who's slated to replace Rabbi Kohen? Who's under Rabbi's wing that he's picked? Maybe he has. I'm not saying that he hasn't, but are thinking. Who's under Dr. Bennett's wing? Who's she passing it to? Or is every time we pass the torch, we got to start all over like politicians?
That's the problem with politics in Ghana, is everything, when they pass the torch, it's like, in America too.
Everywhere.
That's true.
When it goes from one to the group to the next group, you start all over.
Yeah, they don't want to continue. There's no continuation. It's, I don't like what you did, so let me do what I want to do.
Right. Same for every organization. I'm using these names and people as examples, not necessarily a critique of them, but as leaders of our community to see. Like, I've already told my sons, my nephews, and everybody, I'm not waiting to pass you guys the torch. So I'm teaching and I'm learning now.
I was seeing your son and your nephew on different things that you do.
I got a PA. All of my staff that work for me, I tell them the worst thing you can do is go behind my back because you want to create another company. Don't do that. Come to me and ask me to be a partner. Ask me to look over your business plan. I will graciously help you start your next business. Just because you're not working for me don't mean that, because true love is wanting for somebody what they want for themselves, even if it means they have to be without you. So trust me, I told 2025, I'm pushing everybody. Now, if you're going to get offended, then be offended. I'm glad you're offended. But if you take what I'm saying, look at it, and put it to action, and if this forces you to move with a certain level of force, concept, thought on where we're going, then that's good. Because we need to do more than just protect the dungeons, right? It's a whole place. And guess what? It's not just for historical diasporics. It's our job to build and connect the bridge, right? You do a very good job at exploring historical diasporans, Ghanaians. What is it that we do? How do we build? How do we work together? It's our job to build that. It's our job to have that cultural understanding. It's our job to have the hard conversations. We have to talk about, is the complicity of indigenous Africans in the transatlantic slave trade a thing? Or is that something that the European created to divide us? That's a conversation that has to continue to happen in different professional, respectable settings, right? Conversation that has to happen. Does the African American come to Ghana and believe that they're better than everyone else and treat people like second-class citizens? Is that something? And how do we prevent it? How do we look and research the history of Liberia to ensure that a free people doesn't return home to colonize its own people again? Have we done a serious reading of neocolonialism by Kwame Nkrumah? Do we know that what Kwame Nkrumah told us in neocolonialism is that the way the colonizer continued to colonize us is through the corporation, through the business, by putting them on each other's boards? And if that's the way they did it, then why haven't we really looked at that and said, hey, I'm going to put you on the board of my company. Now we're going to undo it. Why haven't we really started having real conversations about building economic power, what this looks like? So, and the critique is on me too. I'm one of them. I'm one of the people who haven't. But I'm okay with bashing myself. Like, I'm okay with saying, Diallo, you haven't lived up to who you are. And you have to. Like, I'm okay with publicly saying, I should be doing more. I can be doing more.
What are some of the things that you think that the diaspora should do when they come here? Three things that you can think of that people should know that they should be doing when they're coming to Ghana, especially if they want to become citizens and they want to live here.
Well, so the first thing is understanding that currently the only legal way to citizenship is naturalization.
Yeah.
So although you are a member of the diaspora, go ahead and get legal residency. That at least shows some respect, because sometimes it feels like we want Ghana and other African countries to make up their own minds, to be independent, and to do what's best for them, except for when it comes to us. Get a legal residency permit and become a legal resident. At least the first year.
Yeah.
Right? Do that and understand what it takes to become a part of the formal economy and society. Number two, I think, and this is something that we're actually coming out with, is if you're planning to move here, you need an orientation. You need a cultural orientation. And it's not a session where you sit down for 4 hours and you look at a
video
presentation with slides. It starts that way, but it's active, right? That cultural orientation means that if you're going to decide to live in the Ga community, that you understand Homo War.
That is huge. The Homo War Festival is very...
That you understand the Homo War Festival, that you attend. That you understand Niña and why everybody wears the Niña around their neck, why they wear white, why the Ga priests are barefoot. It's important that you...
green leafy thing they wear around their neck.
Yeah. It's important that you know that every society has about a 4 to 6 week time where there's a ban on noise. Don't plan no parties around that time. Respect it.
That's true.
Right? If you come into the Akan tradition in Akuapem, you need to understand Wukudai, right? Every 42 days on a Wednesday in the Palace of Akopong. If you're going to Kumasi or anywhere under the Ashanti Kingdom, you need to understand the Kwesi Dai. You don't have to go and do it, but you need to understand that it's a part of the cultural custom. Why you're right, not your left. Just that's cultural orientation that helps you understand where you are.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that I would say is find a village or a family. Right? Even if you live in this gated community where all other diaspora is no problem, but find a village, a family, someplace to connect to where you can be in nature, where you can put your feet in the soil, and where you can begin to learn and understand and have a place that you belong, that you kind of go back to. Because one of the things we lost is our home village. And the biggest difference in the historical diaspora is I can't say my grandfather, my great-great-grandfather had his naming ceremony under this tree in this village. I can't say that, right?
Yeah.
Have respect for yourself and your culture. As an African American, you have a culture too. Teach people about who you are, where you're from, and treat people well. Some of it is just treating people well. It's just literally treating people well. So, I mean, I could probably go on and on, but that would be my top 3 for people that are coming. And some people may disagree. Man, that's some bullshit. I'm going to come, I'm going to get my house, and I'm going to just live my life and do my thing. A lot of us don't want to be counted. We're living off the grid. That's no problem, right? Like I'm saying, when I talk, it's not like, I don't think everybody should do what I'm doing. And that's not my goal. But I do think everybody should do something, right? There's a proverb that says, everybody can't do everything, but when everybody does something, everything gets done.
That's true.
Right? We also need to learn to follow leadership. Not that there has to be one leader, but it doesn't matter if it's me or you, right? I can serve you. As a leader in my world, I can come to your world and still serve you. Ivy, you say, Diallo, we're going this way. This is the direction that we're going. And it's sensible, right? Because it has to be sensible. And it makes sense. And there's some thought, right? And you're not treating me like I'm something. Okay, Ivy, what do you need me to do? I will follow you. That doesn't mean that I don't have this thing that I'm doing, but I can now lend my resources to follow you.
Yeah.
There's so much ego. There's so much all of this stuff. And this is not just Ghana.
It's everywhere.
It's all of the problems that we have as a historical diaspora with our organizational hierarchy and our organizational transitions are the same in the U.S. The same. The exact same. They haven't changed. But at least over here, there's less of us, it's smaller of us, and let's push. Like, what we doing? Right? And we got it, like, everybody got to eat. Everybody got to eat. I ain't got no problems working under none of my elders, but I need a check too. I got to eat. I got to build. I got to develop. I need an opportunity too. And I want the right to ask questions. I want the right to, where are we doing? What we doing? Like, how are we doing it? What's the plan? And I need you to trust me that I'm going to handle it. So, and again, I think because I'm going to be 50 this year, that I'm making it into like this whole thing. There's a whole bunch of 50-year-olds out here looking at me like, this cat swear because he going to be 50, he done made it to somewhere. Like 50 ain't the end all be all.
It's a milestone.
No. It's a big milestone. Yeah. And for me this year, in our tradition, your Krada is when your birthday falls on the day that you were born. So my 50th is on Tuesday and I'm Kwabena. So the fact that it's come around for my 50th to fall on my actual birthday, for me, makes it special. See?
Yeah.
On the actual day you were born.
Yeah, on the Friday.
Right? So It's like, so now this whole year, I'm like, yo, any interview I do, anybody I talk to, whatever it is, it's up. You know what I'm saying? Everything is up and let's go. Right? It's not, I'm not holding my tongue. I'm not,
Yeah, at this stage of life, you get to be like, you just say what you want to say, what's on your mind. You're like, Why am I holding back? For what?
I used to laugh. My great uncle, who I grew up with, Lindo Breeden. My uncle used to smoke the pipe. I said pipe, not the crack pipe. He used to smoke the pipe, right? So after dinner, and my great aunt Isabel, old school house, dinner's at 5:36, not late. You have a dinner at 5:36. I used to have to set the table, and I used to have to wash the dishes. So my uncle would get up from the table, and he would go to the den. We had a den with a kerosene heater. And like on the way to the den sometimes, he would just fart the whole way, right? It would the whole way, right? And I'm like, damn, Uncle Lindo, like in my mind, I'm like, but then it's like, you know what? Uncle Lindo is 80 something. He has a hearing aid. He's lived his entire life. And he is absolutely not worried about who's there, who hears it, who smells it, or anything. I'm going to the den to watch baseball. So if I happen to fart along the way, I'm over 80. I've earned that right. Now, I'm not there yet, right? But I hope one day I can do that just so I could be like my Uncle Lindo. When my kids around, I'm going to wake up from the dinner table, walk to the room, and just fart the whole way. So they could be like, Dad has earned it. I've earned the fartability. You're 6%. So it's like, yo, you only get one life, right? We only hear once that I know of. I haven't met anybody who's died and come back like, yo, you should really hurry up and die, because if you think what you're doing here is crazy, in death, we super lit. I haven't met nobody that did that told me that yet, right? That death is that amazing that I should hurry up.
Nobody says that.
But I have met older people who said, I regret that I didn't do this.
Oh.
I wish that I would have done this. I wish that I would have lived my life. I wish that I hadn't hold my tongue. I wish that I didn't do this. Or if I could do it all over again, right? And there's only one alternative to getting older, which is death. If you're not getting older, you're dying, right? And I think because I'll be 50 this year, I'm experiencing my mortality, just even stretching, little dumb shit happen. I'm cramp in my leg. Like, how the hell I get a cramp? It's fun, it's loving, it's productive for me. And I'm in the best place that I've been in my whole life. That doesn't mean that my bank account is stacked to the ceiling. I still be going through my challenges, my issues. Even though my business is doing well, I still make mistakes. I still have people that come that I got to apologize to sometimes if I miss a step or my staff miss a step. But every day is constant motion, constant development, constant correction. How do we get to be better? How do we be authentic? How do we own our mistakes? How do we, you know what? My bad. I shouldn't have done that. I apologize. Let's do it this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we do that and then keep it moving and not let it linger and become a thing? Just, you know what? Live your life. And my theme for this year is to be wise and make the best use of my time. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. And just because we both Black, just because we both from America and we're in Ghana, that doesn't mean that we have to work side by side. It just means that we don't have to work against each other. You could be doing your thing and I could be over here like, I'm happy for you, do your thing. And I could be over here doing my thing and you could be happy for me, like, do your thing. Even if we're going in the same direction, trying to get to the same place, everybody's not going to work at the same level to do the same thing. We just can't work against each other. But we do need some cohesive thought and action and mind somewhere in between. It might not be me and you, but it might be somebody from my camp and somebody from your camp and somebody from these all 5 camps who are at least making sure that we're not, cutting each other and that we're still figuring out how to get to the same place together. And that's just life, right? And not just us. And it's not us versus them. I hate the us versus them. Because if you say us African Americans versus them continental Africans, guess what? We are the them.
You're creating a divide.
But we are the us and them.
Yeah.
They are us.
This has been so in-depth, talking about your journey here, talking about the dynamics of the diaspora being in Ghana. We talked a bit about you becoming enstooled here. And so I want to come back to the fact that we're sitting here in Nyame in the Eastern region, in this community center that is going to be like a hub for this community. You mentioned the library that's going to be here. There's going to be the space up top that people can come and chill, have fun, watch sports. And then this first level area. Now behind us is the school.
Yes.
There's a lot of kids back there. We've been hearing them running around while we've been sitting here. Do you have any involvement with what's happening with the kids in the community here?
So this school, like the teachers and everybody, like we love each other because they know that I'm going to take care of them in a way. I try. I'm always bringing school supplies every year. So at least once or twice a year, every child in this school gets a book bag with supplies. Some of our buildings don't have lights. And like I've put some lights in one and then somebody came and stole the wiring, crazy stuff. So the main thing though is what they understand and what I understand is it's way more important for me to finish this community center and give them this space before I spread out too much and try to rehab the rest of the school buildings, right? So we go from pre-K through JHS, which is, for anybody in the U.S., is pre-K through junior high school. So we have our kindergarten block. After I complete the community center, my next thing at the school is the nursery.
Okay.
There's one room. It's not stuff is not crazy expensive. But again, once I finish this, I'll do another GoFundMe. I'll reach out for help. Like, hey, y'all, I need help doing this thing. You'll see it. And then you got the primary in the back, which you can't see immediately. And then the JHS. I also promised the teachers that I would build them a single bathroom stall off of their unit so that they could have a bathroom that they can use and they don't have to use the one with the students. So the primary thing that will help the school is the community center because it's right here. So now they can take a break and come into this building and sit in the library. In this space that we're in, we can do assemblies. I can't wait to bring in poets, so they can hear stories about Anansi and like I'm all the stuff that I did when I was growing up. In school, we had assemblies where somebody came in and did drumming and dancing. Then somebody came in, a poet came in.
Speakers,
right?
Yeah.
Movie nights, like one of the things we're going to do in our community is every month we're going to do community birthday parties. Birthday parties are big. So we'll do a cake. Happy birthday, Yami Birthday, March babies. Your birthday in March, candles, cake, ice cream. Simple stuff like that in this community goes a long way. People feel valued. They feel like their life matters. And then now, once you can kind of remove some of those barriers that you think about, it's easier to kind of dream and think beyond your situation. So I'm quite involved. Like if I go outside, you'll hear all the kids, no, Diallo.
Yeah.
No, Diallo. No, one. Because I come and shake their hands. Some days I come like, yo, I'm buying popcorn for the whole school, right? And for them, it's like, wow. But I'm like, it was 200 CDs. You can do that, right? So we have a lot of plans, but the first is to get through, because the community center is the big expenses. Like it's costing money. And like I said, I'm grateful for our donors. I'll definitely drop the GoFundMe link. I think we've had people donate about $5,000, $6,000. It's a $60,000 limit. But most of the stuff that you'll see me asking for, I did it on my own already because I ain't want to wait. Like, so as people are donating, I'm still doing it on my own. Like, hey, we're going to get it done either way. So, but yeah, this is like, we've adopted this school, this whole grounds, and I hope one day to just be able to really work with the school in a different way, dig into their curriculum. We definitely want them to learn African history early and not, we want to kind of, yeah. And we bought the land next to it to build a high school and a 2-year arts, entrepreneurial, and vocational institute. So I bought the 2 acres right next to the school. So this is going to be Yame Bechude's educational block.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well done. Well done. What do you have to say, like final thoughts of what people should be prepared to do when they take their journey to the African continent?
I would say that when you take your journey, one of the biggest things is to remain open. Is to stay open and to try to set your expectations, right? Naturally, I run a tourism company, so if you're looking for someone to curate your journey, we can do that at the Adinkra group. But I think beyond that, no matter who you travel with, which company you travel with, I would say just really stay open. Because you can watch YouTube all day, right? We want you guys to make sure y'all like, subscribe, watch Ivy Prosper's channel, share it. Make sure you follow her on YouTube. Make sure you follow her on Instagram and on all social media platforms. We need that. But it's still different when you put your feet on the ground.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who sit back and they're watching and never come.
Right. It's different when you put the feet on the ground. And then the last thing that I would tell is what we tell everybody who come with us is this trip is going to be a journey and you're going to experience a lot of different things. Don't try to force yourself to settle on what you think the experience means or the experience that you had. Give yourself a week or two after the journey to let it all sit in and figure it out. And then if you fall in love, which a lot of people do literally and figuratively, right? Is either somebody coming out here getting their back blown out because you done got with one of these strong ass Ghanaians who what the song go? He got a cassava for you, right? You done had that cassava, now you done lost your mind. Or you a brother who came here and you got with a young Ghanaian sister who, when she cooked for you, clean for you, and she got a body like a gymnast, right? And she don't put that thing on you, and now you done lost your whole mind, right? So some of us physically fall in love, some of us spiritually fall in love, and then you just like, wow, it's all Black people. I'm in the majority.
That's one thing a lot of
It's like the weather, the vibe, the energy. It's nothing wrong with any of it. Hey, boo, get your love on. Hey, bro, marry 2 wives. You can hear whatever, do what you want to do. But, spread love. That's the Brooklyn way, right? Bring love. Bring love. Bring love with you, because we have been through enough in the U.S. Our people here have been through enough. All of us have been through enough. Let's try our best to contribute to our healing. And some of that happens just by being, by treating people well, by being nice, by remaining open and being patient and those kind of things. I think that's what I would say. And, come back. Like, if you fall in love and you feel it, come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Take your time and come back.
That's a key, taking your time.
Take your time.
People are like, and then they fall hard. And when they fall hard, they're like, nah. And then they're out there like, this is horrible. This place is terrible. This place is this. Place is that. Don't do this. But it's like, but you fell hard where you came from too sometimes.
Exactly.
And then when you fall hard here, all of a sudden it's like.
And, I know we're supposed to be wrapping it up, but I always tell people this, why having a good experience on your first trip is important. Most of us are not as forgiving of ourselves as we are of other people, right? And that's literally yourself, your family, and other people. And that's literally yourself, meaning Africa. You've traveled to Africa, the ticket costs money, the trip costs money. And if you don't have a good time, I told you we shouldn't have went to Africa. Now, you could go to Europe and get yellow fever and get bit up by bed bugs, but then you'll be like, oh, it was just the hotel we stayed in Paris. Next time we'll go to Venice and try a different European country.
Right.
You're very forgiving.
Yeah.
Some of it is Stockholm Syndrome, and some of it is just, giving ourselves more grace, right? Because you're going to come here and be like, girl, it took 1.5 hours for my food to come. And then, don't let that, because it will sometimes, don't let that take you away. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the very last thing that I'll say, because we keep saying last thing, but we've been waiting to do this for a long time, so I appreciate it. Give yourself some grace. Give our people some grace. And if you're going to exercise patience, if you have to be forgiving, and if you have to let something go, do that here. Let this be the place where you let it go. Let this be the place where you give grace. Let this be the place where you accept the apology, where instead of saying, I'm never coming here again, you say, I'll give you another try, or you try to be corrective in the moment. Hey, you know what? Next time do this, pick and choose. Like, let this be the place where you bring your idea, your mind, your development. And at the same time, if you know this is not the place for you, and if you know you can't be a contributing factor here, or if you know you don't like it here, and you know that this is not the thing for you, then take your ass back home. Don't make it hard for everybody else, right? Don't be like, I'm gonna get on YouTube and just expose all of the terrible things that are happening in Ghana. People deserve to know when something happens wrong, but just the negative, this ain't right, that ain't right, this ain't right, that ain't right, this ain't right, that ain't right. Just take your ass home and go back to Indiana or Chicago and live there. Because if you're coming here, you know that everything ain't what it's gonna be. Bring your best self. Not your worst self. I ain't mean to tell y'all to stay your ass home. I did, but I did. It's like I did and I didn't. I did and I didn't. Yeah. Didn't I? Like I did and I did and I did and I didn't.
Thank you so much, Diallo. This has been a really great conversation.
My homie, thank you, Ivy. And make sure, so Ivy, I'm gonna say we both have a book, a guide of coming to Ghana. And I don't know many people who have them, but other than you and I don't really know if there's, I'm sure somebody else has.
So there's a few people who've written some after. I wrote my first one in 2018.
Right.
And then the second edition came out in 2019. And then yours came out, I think it was
2021.
2021
on Malcolm X's birthday, May 19th. So
yeah, there's been a couple, but they're not as
I think ours is she won't say ours is the best. You can find mine on Amazon, the Smart Ghana Repatriation Guide. You can find yours on Amazon too, right?
Yeah. What I like about yours is, I know we're supposed to be wrapping up, but we keep talking. What I like about yours is that you had contributors in your book.
Yes.
So it had other people.
You were one of them.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for asking me. It had other people's experiences also included, which helped to give it a more robust feeling. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, when you asked, I was like, oh, that is smart. Having other people included in there.
Because I just didn't want them to hear my voice. It's like, hear from someone else who lives here.
Yeah.
Right? And it's okay. Hear from somebody else so you can hear their experience. And then some people are going to have more experience than me. So I think you did
different experience.
You did the chapter on media, messaging.
Yeah.
And that's your lane.
Yeah.
So why not have Ivy Prosper talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was good. So grab the book on Amazon. The link will be in the description for the book. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching this conversation. This has been a really, really good one. I think it's really important that when we do come to Ghana, that we do find ways to give back to the community. And he's certainly doing that. This community center, when it's finished and officially opens, I believe it's going to
August 16th.
August
16th. I'm stating it on camera. August 16th.
He said it. We'll show you when it's done, what it looks like. We'll come back and we'll show you how the kids are enjoying it, how the community is enjoying it. Maybe I'll sit on the rooftop there and enjoy the breeze. Got some chicken wings or something, or watching
chicken wings and yam chips.
Yeah. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. The young people have truly bonded with Diallo. They call him Nana One. The joy on their faces as they anticipate the opening of this community center is undeniable. If you'd like to support the completion of this project, visit the GoFundMe page for details on how you can make a contribution. My name is Ivy Prosper, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.